You know I model.
Really?
Yeah. I'm one of the country's first plus-size models.
I knew this.
So
That's not how I hired you, but I knew this.
No, actually the modeling came after the radio.
Oh, no
They were
way.
like, why are they hiding this face behind the radio? No, so I want to tell you a story that happened to me, like for real. So obviously being a plus size model means I work like twice a year because I'm not getting a ton of shoots. If you think the fashion world is not inclusive, then you have not met the Pakistani fashion world. And whenever someone tells me it's getting better, I'm like, shouldn't I be the gauge in that? But I'm on this shoot, okay? And so far it had been going like pretty well, pretty decent. Like the photographer. I love the photographer. He's always made me very comfortable. And I'm like, okay, it's going great. I noticed that the videographer didn't seem too comfortable with me. And your whole life you learn to pick up when you're like the one fat person in a room who's comfortable with that and who isn't. And I could tell like he's not vibing with me. Like he had all the girls like running around doing pretty things. And with me, it was like I was just standing there like a block. And then we were on some like beach in Balochistan because that's what you do when you're shooting lawn. And there was like this cliffside and he was like, all right, so like all the women, like girls, everyone over there, da, da, da. And I start walking and he goes, hey, like, are you able to climb that? And we're outdoors by a beach. It was like pin drop silent. And I looked at him and I was like, I'm fat. That doesn't mean I can't walk. And he was like, and I was like, yeah, I'll meet you over there. And then I had to walk there with a lot of good spine and strength. And I was like, oh my God, this is actually kind of hard. But yeah. And so I thought we could talk about that today.
Let's talk about the modeling world and modeling generally, because it's a topic that I don't know anything about.
Well, you're going to have a very beautiful show today because today we have
Trinette!
Woo! Trinette Lucas.
Hi guys, thank you so much for having me. I'm so really genuinely so excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you.
I'm so excited. I'm meeting you for the first time, and your name, it's a beautiful name. What does it mean?
Thank you. So my mom says that my name means girl of wisdom, but then I checked on Google and Google told me that it actually means pure. So I'm not sure. She says she saw it on a book, so I'm assuming that it's true. I don't know where that book is though.
Well, it's good to have a unique name.
But you did Google search it.
It's good. I did because I didn't trust my mom. But the thing is, she's probably gonna watch this and she's gonna kill me.
It's okay.
But,
we're same boat.
Yeah.
Our families are not very happy with us.
Now is my time to shine.
Yeah.
But so it's great to have a unique name, but it's really difficult because 9 out of 10 times I have to constantly repeat my name for people to pronounce it correctly. So that's a big thing.
Yeah, because over here there's like 3 names that are common. Not naming them.
Sabah.
Sabah. Yeah.
Sabah, Malik, actually.
Yeah. And so if they don't know how to say anything, they don't even pronounce food properly. So it's okay. It's fine.
I want to tell. So both of us supermodels.
Apparently you guys know each other.
Yeah, we do.
So we've been homies for a bit now, but the way I met Trinette is one of my favorite stories. So although I say this in every episode, I am an RJ at 89. I've been doing it for 5.5 years. And when my show first started, I would always get messages from this like cool person who would like message in and have cool stuff to say. And I would read these messages out loud and be like, yo, like, thank you so much for writing in. Trinette from Karachi and da-da-da. And then years later, we both were cast in Kamya Rokni, one of the best fashion designers, in one of his shows.
Absolutely,
and I walk up to Trinette. I'm so excited to meet her because I've been a fan. I think at that point we'd been social media.
Like Instagram buddies.
Buds. And so I walked up to her and I was like, it's so nice to meet you, da-da-da. And she's smiling at me and she's like, I know you. And I was like, yeah,
it's on Instagram.
And she goes, no, Trinette. And I was like,
Trinette from Karachi.
Like in a movie when all these signs are coming to you.
God,
Because like for RJs, dude, you are sitting alone in a box for hours. And like it literally, anyone who comes up to me is like, yo, I used to write in. But then the fact that it was like, how did I not put 2 and 2 together? You have to be the only Trinette in Pakistan I met.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm sure there's more baby Trinettes.
Maybe.
Prior to you.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I do think I haven't met a Trinette.
I've never met a Sabah ever, not once. Yeah.
I know 8.
Yeah, literally. You know, this girl.
I know a few Sabahs also.
Oh, there's.
But I don't know Sabah
there's
Malik.
There. Oh, I know like 5 Sabah Maliks because they found me on Instagram because they were like, "Yo, people keep trying to follow our TikTok because they think it's you. Can you put out a statement and say it's not you?" And I was like, "Nope." I was like, "Enjoy the trash." Really. So today we wanted you on because I'm obsessed, but also we want to talk about the modeling industry and just like being a person and women.
So it's something that I know nothing about. It's usually we have guests on and I can wing it, but this is something that I'm actually genuinely really excited to learn a little bit about. I mean, I listen to Sabah, but I don't really listen to Sabah. So now you're here to validate and tell me a little bit more about the modeling industry. Like, what's it like in Pakistan, being a model in Pakistan?
So I'll start by how I became a model, right?
Yeah.
So this was so I graduated in 2019 in December, and COVID happened right after, right? So all my future plans, they were all completely destroyed.
Yeah.
And facts. I was just at home. Yeah, facts, honestly. So
what were your future plans though?
So I studied fine arts.
Oh, okay.
And I had all these shows that I was meant to do and all these galleries and whatnot, commissions. And so everything came to a standstill.
Yeah.
And I was really, obviously, just depressed. I was at home doing absolutely nothing. It was like I was going through a phase. All that ambition that I had just kind of, it went away. Yeah. And so I used to just literally lie on my bed and stare at the ceiling. And my mom came to me one day and she told me, why don't you do something with this degree that you have? Go on social media, start selling a painting. Like, you have all these skills, do something with it. And so she was like, get up and earn, do something. Don't just waste away like that. She literally told me, make jewelry, kuch to bejo, kuch to karo,
Yeah.
So I was like, acha, I felt really bad. I was like, ab to kuch karna padega, So I don't know why, but I've always been interested in makeup and fashion. I'm a girly girl. I always have been. So, and I started doing makeup on myself when I was very young because I had to teach myself how to do makeup because whenever I go to the salon, they'd never really know how to do makeup on me because they never would have products for me, etc., etc. So I started learning how to do my own makeup, and then I got into fashion. And so I was like, okay, maybe if not fine arts, maybe I can somehow get into the fashion industry, and maybe I can start just by making an Instagram account, and I can tag a bunch of magazines, and I'll get someone will notice me, and maybe I'll get an internship. So that was the intention, to get an internship.
That's cool.
Yeah. And I was also sending out CVs to I don't even know how many CVs I sent out into, who probably sent one here also.
No.
Sending out CVs. I was like, hire me, somebody hire me. And I was like, you know what, anything. I just want to learn something. So I started clicking my own photos from my phone. It was I had a tiny, I had an iPhone, a really beat up iPhone S6 or something. I don't even remember.
Classic.
Yeah.
I had the
7 I still have that phone.
10, I had the 7 to the point that people were like, how embarrassing. And I was like, these are expensive phones.
And also that was my first iPhone. So it was this attachment.
Sentimental value.
Sentimental value, absolutely. So I would do my own hair and makeup, put my phone on the windowsill, and then put the self-timer on, hurry back, and then just click a photo. And I started doing that every weekend and just started tagging a bunch of magazines and fashion houses. And very early on, people started to repost my pictures on social media. And this was also COVID, right? So everyone was at home.
Everyone's
lockdown.
on their phones.
There was this
Everyone's
influx
being a
of
creep.
that too.
Yeah.
And so also I think people assumed that I was an influencer, so they started asking me do you want to shoot? We'll give you free clothes. And I was like, free clothes? Yes, please.
Absolutely.
Give me free clothes.
Yeah.
Not saying no to that.
I told people this, that the whole reason I became an influencer, I was like, the year that I don't have to buy a single lawn outfit, that's the year I quit. I've made it.
That's so true.
I know I've achieved.
That's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true, right? When people just send you free things, you're not gonna say no to that. I was like, yeah, sure, I'm not doing anything anyway.
You guys are so lucky. You get free stuff in the form of clothes and jewelry
bandwagon.
and whatnot. The only time I've gotten free stuff is I got a box of mangoes once, and I'm like,
Let me tell you, I get a box of mangoes minimum once a year, and I'm like, this was
Don't show
was
off.
all worth it.
Don't show
All
off.
worth it. Absolutely.
Cherries. That's another good one. Sorry, please don't go me.
Who segued into fruit. Free fruit.
Free food and
Yeah.
free clothes.
Yeah.
So
So-
I started off like that, and then I did a few like shoots. And I remember the first time a smaller brand had approached me and they told me, "Okay, how much will you charge?" I ran to my dad. I was like, "We get paid for this?" Like I was like, "What?" And my dad was like, "Yeah, you do. Like this is
like,
modeling."
"What have you
He was
been
like, "Are you
doing this
stupid?" He's like, say something, whatever. Like put a price on that." And I was like, "I don't know what to do." And then I remember I said 5,000, and I was like, "Oh my god, like 5,000 for doing this?" Because it was like whatever, right? Like I'm
You're
like
taking
having
pictures and
fun
putting
it's
it- yeah,
great, and like
yeah.
you know, it was new, and so I did it. I got that 5,000 rupees, and I was like, wow, this is what I want to do.
set.
Like
Okay.
this is it, right? Like
Yeah.
if I get to do this and actually make money, like that's amazing. And I also started working. So I was working, and then on the weekends I would do like these one-off shoots. And eventually, a bigger brand approached me. 2 bigger brands approached me. They took me on their campaigns, their big campaigns, put me on billboards, and then one thing just led to another, really, and it would just all happen in the span of a few months, really.
Wow.
So I didn't even.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So I didn't really, at least in the beginning, I didn't really struggle because it just like opportunities were coming. I was taking them and I was having fun, and I was like, you know, this is it. Like, this is good. And I also felt like this is nice because they're asking someone like me.
Yeah.
And I didn't see girls like me growing up. I didn't see girls like me in commercials. I didn't see girls like me on billboards. So just the fact that I was doing it, I was just thinking to myself, like, wow, like this is different. You know, I feel like this has some meaning. It's not
Something's
just
happening.
Something is happening,
Yeah.
and something's shifting, and I think I'm a part of this shift. And that's when
I'm such a psychotic auntie.
That's
Like,
awesome.
I like
No,
upset.
no, that's
but I
awesome.
appreciate
But
that.
I
from-
remember
That's awesome.
the first time I saw a shoot of yours, and I remember also being like, "Holy, like stunning,
Yeah.
so beautiful."
Thank
and
you.
honestly, like one of my first thoughts was like, "Finally!" Like
Yeah.
it's like honestly, finally.
Finally,
I
right?
had worked at a fashion magazine for 4 years.
Okay.
Hello Pakistan, back in the day when it was a print magazine and stuff, and so it's kind of wild that like we are Pakistani, but and I'm not knocking anyone. Like all of our models, they're stunning, they're beautiful,
Absolutely.
and a Pakistani can be anything, but it is a bit like, how are they all white and blue-eyed? Like at
Yeah.
some point, you gotta start asking questions.
Skinny,
of-
white,
So,
and blue eyes.
Also,
White and blue,
most models wear lenses,
Yeah,
so they're
for
not
sure.
actually
Some of,
blue-eyed.
yeah, most of them.
And I've been told that too. I've been told by multiple people,
Yeah.
you should wear blue lenses or like green. You look so exotic, and I'm like, no.
Okay, explain this term to me. When someone comes up to you and says you look so exotic, can you break that down for me? I mean,
I'm
what?
just thinking,
What do they?
like,
what do
am
they
I
mean?
like
What
a
is-
like a rare bird from Africa? Like, why are
Exactly.
you calling me exotic? And that's
Yeah.
not a compliment to me at all. Because to me, I don't think I'm exotic. I think I'm very
Every
beautiful,
girl.
just like a lot of us are. Most of us, everyone.
Like you were
But
saying
there's
earlier,
nothing
you're
like
you when you look in the mirror, you have cousins who look like you have sisters who look like you have other people walking out on the road
random
that look
people
like
on
you.
the streets that look like
Exactly.
all
You're
of us.
giving a lot of
I mean-
grace. Every time I look in the mirror, I'm like, man, they wish. No, but I get what you're saying. It's,
Yeah.
actually,
I mean, they think that they're giving you a compliment by calling
yeah,
you exotic.
When I was in the States,
But
being
it's-
called exotic, I
Yeah.
feel like Pakistanis, they see a lot of the time abroad. Oh, you're so exotic. You're so exotic.
Caramel skin.
Yeah.
Chocolate skin.
I would say we were bonded with the fact that both of us are routinely called chocolate skin.
Yeah.
Like it's a big thing. But that didn't happen to me till Pakistan. Pakistan, man, I was twice a day. I count it. Like that I would say my average, somebody will be like, you know, your skin is
Chocolatey.
chocolatey. For about 8 months, I got multiple DMs every single day from the same person that would go, chocolate kitty, meow, meow, chocolate kitty, over
Wow.
and over.
Why am
and
I
over.
even surprised?
Because it would be
I'm
like on
not
a
surprised.
selfie of me, right?
Yeah.
So like I think they saw the eyes, kitty, and they would do chocolate on the skin. And I'm saying relentless, like 8-9 months. And I would screenshot and send it in my friend groups. That's why sometimes you'll see, like, on my photos, people will comment, it's my friends, our friends, with chocolate kitty meow meow. And I didn't know.
That could be a great name for a new brand.
Literally.
Like a clothing brand.
Literally.
So my thing is, and I'm just like, I'm asking, do you think it's because obviously Gora complex, very much ingrained in all of us, right? So do you think it's hard for us to accept that someone with dark skin can actually be beautiful, and it's hard for us to accept that reality that yes, she's beautiful, and I don't have to exoticize her to prove that she's beautiful or to give her a compliment.
So,
right?
Us having this conversation, I'm not going to say I've thought about this before, but actually right now while you were saying this, I'm like, oh wow, it actually does correlate, because I do think being plus size, people finding me attractive, there's a level of shame to it, because we've been taught that fat means ugly, fat means lazy, fat means, a lot of shameful things. So
just like how savli means
generalized,
right?
Generalized terms.
If someone has to compare, like someone who's lighter in skin tone to me, they'll say, "वो उसका color तुमसे साफ है," and I'm like, "क्या मैं गंदी हूँ?" Does that mean कि मैं
But
गंदी
this
हूँ?
is
Like, what is this terminology, right?
Even the mic hates it. When they say it to me at the salon, आपके हाथ साफ हो जाएंगे. I'm like, first of all, I wash my hands. Are your hands dirty?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's the strange thing to
गंदी
say.
थोड़ी हूँ मैं यार, मेरा skin गंदा थोड़ी है,
I
right?
think you actually really, maybe I should start writing a thesis on this. You hit a nail on the head, because maybe it is that people are ashamed to say they find darker skin beautiful.
Or they use the term attractive. आप बहुत attractive हैं.
They've been conditioned.
Just say beautiful, man. It's okay.
Or they'll go the hyper.
कशिश है.
I can say this, right? They go hypersexualizing. Is a very common trope for both fat women and dark skinned women, is that we are on that spectrum of like, and that's why, like, imagine someone commenting chocolate kitty meow. This is my like average day. The kind of things men will say to me on the internet, and that too, I'm not known to be nice to men on the internet. They're not coming to a receptive audience, right? Like they know there's a possibility that I'm gonna say like,
or you're gonna take a screenshot and put it up.
But
high possibility.
But
you should do that.
You've
always.
really
She does.
blown my mind, because that's really true. I think you're right. I think they're ashamed to find darker skin attractive, and the same way they're ashamed to find bigger bodies.
It's almost like
because they've been
innate,
conditioned
right?
into thinking that there's only one type that is associated with beauty, and all the other types, they don't understand them. They don't, like you said, like it was very difficult for you to find products for your skin types, right?
Still is.
How wild is
which
it?
is crazy.
Where, like, so...
Because considering the average Pakistani is clearly buying the wrong products for themselves.
They absolutely are.
I'm pretty average.
They absolutely are.
And they need to understand this, that, hello, the products that you're putting on your skin are not for you. They're not there to enhance your skin. You're just hiding your true color behind all of these layers.
You're looking ashy and grey, and
you
for
look
what?
Crazy. Also...
Sorry, even until recently, sunscreens were made for white skins, which is why when we would put them on, it would give us like a white cast. Grayish white cast.
Well, that actually, while we're on that subject, thank you, Neha.
So
Pakistanis, you have
for
to
those who
wear
can't hear,
for
those who
I know you have melanin, but you still need sunblock.
Yeah,
that drives me crazy.
So for those who couldn't hear what our
and
producer
not just when you're going
said,
to the beach, even otherwise,
all day, every day.
So for those who couldn't, we need a mic on you.
But
But for those who couldn't hear what our producer just said, she said that for the longest time, up until very recently, sunscreen was made for white skin. So all the other skin types, poor chaps, it didn't work on them.
Actually, I've only worn Japanese sunblock for like years. Because, well, first of all, I knew that we're supposed to wear sunblock because here's the other thing, which is a different topic entirely. We can edit this out if it's irrelevant, but skincare, especially in the West, people darker than like a light-skinned Latina person are not taken into regard. Like, we do not exist on the spectrum. Like, we don't exist. Black people don't exist. They don't care what happens to us. So we don't actually have, even medical research, a ton of information on how the sun impacts our skin. So that's why I'm always telling people, I'm like, it doesn't matter that we're Pakistani and that we have melanin. I'm like, you better wear some sunblock. And it's, I want to be like, I don't want to get tan. I don't want to get dark. I'm like, that's not it.
Not
First of all, the best tan you'll ever get is a sunblock skin tan, and I stand by that. You turn golden. Number
That's
two,
so true.
yeah. Number two, it's about health, like
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
But this,
Total tangent,
but that
sorry.
said,
That's
a
good.
lot
That
of
was
girls,
important.
a lot of girls don't understand how products. They don't understand skin types. They don't understand these things, and no one. All of these companies that sell these products aren't exactly explaining it to them either.
but they're
Rihanna's
also-
company now has a full explainer as to what your skin type is
And what
your-
ingredients are going
and
into those
what's going
products.
into it, and what's good for you and what isn't. So you choose the correct product for your skin type.
You know, sorry to bring us back to the makeup thing.
Yeah.
So first of all, Karachi girls, I don't know where to go buy like normal makeup, like Maybelline in Karachi. I don't know, but like in Islamabad, Shaheen D Watson, shout out sponsor. I would go there.
We keep waiting.
Yeah,
we keep shouting them out.
And then the
none
next
of them are
words out
watching
of our
us.
mouth. They're
One
like,
day.
no. But I went there the other day because I needed like I needed high coverage on it, just the job. You know, sometimes like I love this skin makeup, but like sometimes you need it. And their darkest color was white.
Yeah.
And I literally was like, ye pagalpan hai. I was like, this is as if these poor women had like any say in like what was being ordered. But I was like, look around this store. Like, we are not white people. And like, why is it so hard to believe that like
Because
I
people
exist?
here don't buy products, even
Yeah.
if they're so. For me, it's always been a struggle. I always buy my products from abroad.
Yeah.
Sadly, right?
Same.
So if I have, you know, a relative or if I'm traveling, I just stock up. But for most people, it's really difficult, and that's because. And I've talked to these sales girls, right? Because I'm like, it's not their fault.
Yeah,
They're just
yeah.
selling what's there, right? Whatever is being put into
There's
those
like a
shelves.
photo of me at D
Yeah.
Watson. Don't let her in. She's so mean. to us.
She's gonna.
Yeah, she's gonna yell at us
Yeah.
for choices we can't make.
So I've asked them, and they tell me because people here don't come asking for what you're asking for.
Yeah.
Even if they're your skin tone or darker, they don't want the same shade as their skin tone. They want to look brighter.
Yeah.
That's the word, like code word for Godi, right?
Yeah.
So they won't sell. So those companies, even though like L'Oreal, Maybelline, all these companies, they have a very wide range.
Yeah, because
But they don't
Rihanna
come here.
changed the game.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. The products don't come here because there's no sales
Yeah.
for those products.
So I'm similar.
So-
If I'm lucky enough to travel abroad, you gotta love that Pakistan repeat
Yeah.
conversion. Oh, God knows when it'll happen again, but I stock up.
Yeah.
And then also, yes, when people are coming, because I'm like, if by chance I find my skin tone here, it'll be warm. Like they don't understand that like cool,
Undertones.
neutral, other
Yeah,
things
yeah,
exist.
yeah.
Not that I'm, and again, like I'm not special. I am very run of the mill as far as Pakistanis go. Or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. The way people talk about it is
No.
like we are freaks. Like nature is something. Okay, so I wanted to,
but
speaking
imagine
of-
like if you don't find your shade,
Yeah.
like
How is
imagine
someone with darker skin?
right?
Yeah,
Like that's
yeah.
where that's the margin.
What foundation are you wearing right now?
Right now I'm wearing Fenty.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love Fenty.
I'm using Ilia skin serum. They also go up to like pretty hard, but I want to try Elf has now gone further
Yeah.
because my dermatologist left. This is
Yeah,
Elf. If you're watching,
We've gone way off.
Yeah, okay. So,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
I want to talk. I said how people look at us like we're alien freaks. I want to talk about tokenism in the modeling industry. Okay, so like you said, okay, now you were getting shoots. I myself admit that like I noticed you in a shoot and was like, whoa, baby, like this is great. Like things are changing. Also, I'm one of like 2, maybe 3 plus size models in the whole country. And I'm counting the third as one who I just saw in a plus size campaign. And I was like, okay, thank God. So
Why do brands do that? I mean, they think that just by including one other person that looks a little different, they're inclusive now?
well, I want to hear from Trinette on this.
So I, in the beginning when I started, it used to be really just me, right? So I'd be like that one dark model, and there'd be like all these other fair girls, right? Like lighter in skin tone than me. But then slowly and gradually now I've seen there is a shift. There's a lot of more girls that are deeper in skin tone, right? But I have yet to see someone as dark or darker than me. I still haven't seen that. Maybe there is a model out there, or maybe I haven't seen it, so I can't say, but I haven't worked with anyone that's the same skin tone or darker in skin tone than me. So I do think that in the beginning, like when brands were taking me, it was like, oh, we're also diverse now because we're taking a dark-skinned girl. Okay, don't come at us. There's all these fair girls, but it's okay.
Checked.
Yeah. Box check, okay. Or ek plus size ko bhi le lenge, and then it's this big happy group of women. We're so diverse, yay, woohoo. And that was it, right? And those would be like one-off shoots.
Yeah.
There are some brands, however, that have only taken me for that one shoot and that's it.
Yeah.
They don't take me again. And I've heard from people say things like, oh, the clothes don't sell on Trinette. Like, they don't. That's not our...
Really?
That's, yeah. And
You
I'm
know,
talking about big brands.
you
They've
started-
taken me a few times and then they don't take me anymore at all because, like, that's not their market, right? That's not their market,
What
their
is
audience.
their market? A Pakistani woman?
The opposite
Yeah.
of what clearly...
You shot for
like,
Iqbal Hussain. Yes,
Yeah.
you've done a couple
Yeah.
for him. Let me tell you, brands, that made me go check his stuff out. And then I was like, oh, Kat se dur. But they look
Yeah.
really, really beautiful.
Yeah.
It was because you
Yeah.
were in those shoots. And I was like, I kind of want this.
Maybe
That's
they should.
crazy.
Maybe they should rethink their clothes, because I mean,
you know,
and
reason-
make
No, no,
clothes.
It's not about the clothes, right? I think it's more so somebody in their own camp got uncomfortable with the
That's
idea
probably
that we're
it.
going
That's
against
probably
the
it.
grain
And
a little bit.
maybe their clothes weren't selling because maybe you didn't try hard enough, man. You took me once,
Yeah.
and that's it. And then you're not gonna take me
But
again
are they
just
talking
because.
about that specific outfit not selling?
I think so, or maybe the campaign. I really don't
the
know.
whole campaign
It's
is yours.
it's not
This
even a
is shocking.
conversation that
Yeah.
I've like been able to have
Yeah.
with those.
Are there
certain
any
I
brands.
would wear
other-
one of those disguised
So-
mustache noses and go in their board meeting.
So
and
what
be
was
like,
it?
So a few years ago,
This is
Yeah.
actually shocking
And then
to
there
hear.
are-
Are there
there are-
any other kind of challenges that you face?
Yeah, so there are some brands that just won't take me. Recently, I got a message.
Let's trash
on
them all
WhatsApp.
right now.
Yeah. I got a
Let's
message
start a
on
movement
WhatsApp.
and be like, "How dare you?"
Oh.
So recently, I got a message on WhatsApp from this PR person saying, "Ke, are you available on so and so date?" I was like, "Yeah." 2 days passed by. I'm like, "Bro, like, let me know because I've been holding the date." He's like, and he just sends me this one line, one sentence saying, "Unko dark complexion nahi chahiye." That's it. And I've
It's
I've
just
like,
etiquette's just gone flying out the
I was like,
window
what?
with our people.
I was
Like, I
that's
don't
a
understand.
criteria. So that's like a criteria now, right? Because now obviously I've somewhat made a name for myself. I'm
You
like
have.
a working model right
Yeah.
now. People know of me. And so obviously now Trinette comes with like a package, right? She's a dark skinned girl. That's her brand. That's her thing. Do we want that or do we not want that for this shoot? It's like a categorization. You see? So it's like if Trinette comes and obviously it's like a thing because she's dark.
That's
It's
kinda
not.
wild.
So when people
And you have to
say
put up
things
all
to
of
me,
this armor to deal with that.
because who's if not me then who?
Yeah.
Right? Like if I don't do it, then what about the next girl that comes?
Well, rather
and the girl
than-
after that. Right?
That's the thing, right?
Did you-
Rather than like opening people's minds and like getting them to actually and inspiring other girls who would never imagine that they could be in a shoot, because for a lot of the girls out there, they think that a model has to be a certain way or a certain skin type or a certain weight even, and a lot of girls like me growing up, I was always big boned. And I never even thought that this was a career path that I could ever take, because that's what society always said, that if you want to be a model, then you have to be skinny, you have to walk the ramp, you literally have to be a hanger so that the clothes hang off of you.
that
and
term is still used.
Did you respond?
really, that term's still
So
used.
I to respond to
Wow.
who?
Those are the sorry dark complexion nature.
I just I sent him a weird emoji and I was like, okay. I was
A
like,
weighted
okay.
emoji, we should
I was
say,
like,
full
what,
of weight.
what was I supposed to say to him?
Yeah.
You know, like मेरे बोलने से उसको कुछ
But
नहीं
can
होने
I
वाला.
just say that some of these PR bachas, they have no manners. The
Yeah,
other
they
day,
don't.
someone messaged me. First, they messaged me on Instagram, so I have to presume they've looked at my content, right? And they're like, "Hi, we want to make a reel with you." I give them my quote, and they go, "Yeah, but your videos don't even cross this many views. So then I sent them, instead of sending them a screenshot of their page, which had like less than 500 views on some videos, I sent a screenshot of mine where I was like, can you not do math? Like, and they were just like, ma'am, numbers need to justify numbers. Ma'am. And I was like,
no, I think it goes deeper, right?
Yeah.
Our industries, there's no training in our industries.
People don't know how to talk.
People don't know how to talk, and like when you go abroad for anything that you get into, any kind of career that you go into, there's proper training. There's also etiquette training. Like when you're dealing with people, you need to be told how to talk to people.
Yeah.
Especially in the fashion world, I don't think there's any kind of training whatsoever. People just thrown into the deep end.
No, there's also no
and they're like,
contract.
swim.
Everything is word of
and
mouth.
if
The
you ask
WhatsApp
for
message,
contract,
kind
you're
of thing.
insulting people.
Yeah, yeah.
If you ask for
or
your
you're
pay,
too
you're-
difficult to
yeah.
talk to. Like, you know what, dude? Like, so I have like a whole list of. I have this one like message with all the questions that I have. Sab kuch hota usme.
Yeah.
So sometimes when I send that to brands, they just run away. They don't get back to me because they're like, "Ye too much." Like once this designer actually told me, Trinette, too many words. I can't. I'm just like, what do you mean? I'm
I
just
am
asking you
mind
basic
blown.
questions.
How is this industry
It is
still
my
running?
right.
What
It
is
is my
happening?
right to ask you,
Yeah.
कि भाई, how many outfits? Is there going to be video or not? Like, just
Yeah.
general-
Of course, it's your right. I
Somebody
She
mean,
ran away. She was like, oh my God, I'm getting a headache. I can't. I'm just like, okay, then
This
go
brand
away.
hadn't paid me. It had been 2 months.
Oh, let's
so
talk
I
about
was
the
like,
payments, yeah.
Hey, it's been 2 months. I would like my payment. Da da da. And they were like, it's only this much money. Can't you wait? And I was like, well, if it's only that much money, why aren't you sending it to
Yeah.
me, bro? Even right now, I'm chasing someone for my payment. I hope you watch this. Every day I'm sending a
No,
message. I'm like,
payments
please
is
don't.
still a thing. It's-
I'm
it's
actually
such a
mind
thing.
blown
Yeah.
as to how this industry is still running.
Well, I'll
honestly.
tell you this: if you want to talk about how this industry is running,
Considering
and I'm
they
taking
keep
a risk
talking about how-
about this because here's the thing: I'm not a full-time model. So sometimes people ask me like, why don't you model full-time? And I'm like, well, let's keep it 100. Like similarly, like I am a certain brand. Like if you're bringing me in, you're trying to show we have regular women and like plus size women can wear our clothes. And listen, some brands like have been beautiful to me and I enjoy working with them and I'll work with them a million times. However, like yesterday I was on a shoot. This is one of my first like high fashion brands, I would say. And it was amazing. Like, and I literally walked into that shoot and I said to Ryan, that makeup artist, I was like, this is my last shoot. Like, I'm done. I'm done being the token fat. Like, I can't take this anymore. And he goes, why? And I was like, I just hate how I'm made to feel. Then this brand brings out my outfit and it was like a strappy sari and like the stylist took like 10 minutes putting jewelry on. And I was shocked because I've been at shoots where the stylist won't even touch me. And is like all over the skinnier girls, all over the little girls. I've had like photographers literally prop me like a table or like honestly, it makes me think of a mountain. That's how I always feel like they've put the mountain in the middle and then they've draped the gazelles on top of her. And it's happened to me so many times. And I'm like, in this industry, okay, I get it. The brand wants to put in my body or maybe even my personality, whatever reason they hired me for. But the team didn't match that energy and I'm made to feel like a monster. Like literally, I remember one of my last shoots, I walked out like sobbing and I was like, why do I keep doing this to myself? Like I don't see why you're even putting me here if you're gonna, and like literally acting like, can you imagine someone actively trying not to touch you while they're touching other people? And I'm like, the fat isn't contagious. Like, relax. If you touch me, it's not gonna grow onto you.
Okay,
but it's very odd.
But then you walk away from these shoots,
Yeah.
and then there's somebody there to support you. Do you think there is like as models? Do you guys support each other?
In my
Because there's a very
experience-
common thing abroad where models will cut just to get ahead.
No, I don't think that that's
Yeah.
the case here.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's the case here. I think models have a great like
Working
Camaraderie.
relation.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't think maybe I don't know, people say that, back in the days, like in the 90s, early 80s, whatever, it used to be really competitive and it's still competitive, but the friendship is there. The support
Right.
is there. Like
So
models do support
You're
each
having
other.
a bad day at a shoot, like you said.
Oh, one time
There
I
will
had
be-
a horrible experience. And it was the models who like rallied around me, and one of them even like defended me and was
That's
and
noted.
I was once on a set, like away, like traveled for a shoot. Oh my God, it was so cool. I would do that again in a heartbeat, Brand. But there was a model on that shoot who was also kind of new to the industry, and I think was kind of operating on a bit of Devil Wears Prada type ancient thought processes. And the thing is, I'm much older than everyone, and my Urdu was terrible at that time. I don't care.
Yeah.
She was actually bullying me, and I was more embarrassed that I was like, I'm like 10 years older than her, and I'm actively getting bullied. This is so embarrassing. But the other models were like, nah, we're not gonna let that happen. So my experience has always been like, it's so fun. Like honestly fun. Like makeup art
It is fun. Like apart from all of the bad stuff that we just talked about or the problematic things that we
because
talked
I'm really
about,
scared for you
it's-
guys.
No.
And I'm sitting here being like, oh my God.
I will say though, I haven't had too many bad experiences.
Just
right?
handful.
Like it's just a handful, and I think that again, when someone says something to you that doesn't sit well with you, address that. Right.
So
Like
that's what I was
And-
asking earlier. Like, what is the armor that you put up? Do you talk it out? Do you close up? Do you walk away and then just kind of bury those emotions? Because it's a lot when people are like, I mean, these statements that they're saying, they really hit really, really hard. It's like an
just
arrow
think
to the
that
heart.
some days it's easy. Some days it isn't. It really just depends.
Yeah.
I've had people say things to me to my face, and there are times where I stand up for myself, and then there are times where I just can't find the courage.
And your family is there to support
and my
you.
family's there to support me, but it's not an easy job, right? Like
I think that's the biggest misconception is
it
people
is.
just think a pretty girl goes in, makeup,
Posing, looking pretty,
My
glamorous.
first ever photo shoot, I was a bride, okay?
Oh my
And
goodness, were you
again-
wearing a bridal outfit?
So it was Generation, so it was a
Okay,
little
alright.
different because, you know, they're not as heavy. But this was, I think, one of their first kind of like wedding collections that came out, that, you know, Shadi Ke Cup or whatever. And they had me as a bride. And so they had specifically made this velvet shawl covered in embroidery that they put on my head at 5 a.m. And my first shot was 1 p.m.
Oh,
and my
God.
last shot was 6 p.m. And
You poor
I
thing.
told everyone from that day two things. One, the day I get married, I'm not covering my head. It was the first thing I said on the phone to my mom. I was like, your dreams out the window. And two, I was like, models work their bums off.
Yeah.
That's
because
true.
That's very true.
That's true.
It is one of the most physically taxing jobs.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't matter if you're in a bad mood. You are.
You have
You
to.
just gotta, everyone else gets to like, you know, unwind and relax and sleep, whatever. But once that camera's on, you gotta give it your all.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how tired you are. You can't look tired when your makeup can't budge. Your hair has to be perfect. Doesn't matter how many hours you've been, you know, standing. It just doesn't matter. And that takes a lot of physical and mental strength.
Yeah.
And then there are of course, as a model, you're standing on, on the spot, under the spotlight, and every inch of your body is being looked at and judged constantly, right? So, and of course, a lot of times, like, people will fix your hair. You're just sitting and you're checking your phone, and someone will come and touch your hair, touch your makeup, touch your face. It gets to me sometimes.
Yeah,
I'm
of
a
course,
human
as it
being. I'm not a
should.
mannequin. I'm a person.
As it
And
should.
also, what's your longest shoot you've ever been on?
20 to 22 hours. So
Yeah.
like almost.
God.
So again, like, I want to give mad props to models. Like, and I'm saying this, I'm not a full-time model. Like, I come in out. Sometimes I am just like a token, one outfit, whatever. And I've said it like, dog, these women are on their feet sometimes for like 16 hours, and then
wearing
for those
heels,
other,
wearing all that
those
jewelry.
other 8 hours
Yeah.
is hair,
Yeah.
makeup, travel.
Yeah.
And also there's a lot of like management of emotions of other people too. And like, this brand is kind of relying on you to like sell their look, and you
Yeah.
don't want to disappoint anyone. And there's
There's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a hard job, a fun job, but a hard job.
So,
for sure.
Yeah.
are you going to inspire more young models to get into it?
I hope so. I hope so. Absolutely. I definitely see.
Do you see a change happening?
I
though?
do see a change happening. I won't.
Like, I mean,
can't
we've
deny
talked
that.
about the old school thought process. We've talked about how things are changing, and you yourself feel like things are changing. with brands, with their mindsets, with different
I think
things.
people are also a lot more careful now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
however
times
it
where you
changes, as long
feel
as
a
there's
certain
change.
energy and you know someone's looking at you and maybe they're thinking that you're looking a little, I don't even know how to say this, but like big, I guess, on camera with the clothes or whatever.
Yeah.
They'll say it in a very subtle way or in a very polite way. They won't.
You're so lucky. I got it horrible a few shoots ago.
No, I'm
No.
sure that's happened with
But
me too.
no matter how they're saying
imagine.
it, even if they are being a little more careful with how
Yeah.
they say and what they say, as long as there's a change, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't
I
matter
do
how it
think-
comes.
I would also agree with like to bring it to what you said earlier that in the last few years I have seen like more they like to call it dusky or darker skin models. I wish I saw more plus size, but
Me
I
too.
think there's a bit of, like I said, a hypersexualization happens with plus size women. So sometimes I do think, plus size girls are scared to go in that realm because of what does that mean? And like, just a culture that in general
or
sees our
they
bodies
think
as a
that
problem.
we can't be models.
Yeah.
It's
No,
as
I also
basic
think
as
that.
that.
Most brands don't want plus size.
That's
models,
also true.
Sabah.
I mean, it's very
I
rare
think-
for me.
I think
I
it's-
work with the same brands
Yeah.
over and over again for
and
a
those
reason.
are the brands that genuinely want
to
that
target
for
that
to
audience.
be that
Yeah.
to be to have that be a part of their identity,
Yeah.
right? Most brands don't want that. They'll say they want it, they'll do that one-off shoot, but they don't really want that to stay, you know? So that's still a thing because weight is still a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, so I made some joke. I make jokes on my Instagram the other day, and it was actually like a meme where
Okay.
this girl goes like, "Oh wow," like no, it's the devil, and the devil goes, "I'm here to take you to hell," and the girl goes, "Oh wow, you're so tall. What are you? Like, how tall are you?" And he goes, "What?" She goes, "How tall are you?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm 6'5", but I guess 6'11" with the horns. And she goes, "With the horns, you're so funny." So I posted that as on my story. This person messages me and is like, and if men talk about women's weight, and I was like, let me enlighten you about something. In this day and age, if I walk down this hall of my place of work and 5 people make a comment on my weight and I complain about that, do you know, not maybe genuinely Dawn, but like in general, you know what I would be told? Hota hi hai. To lose weight. Like to comment on people's weight, especially women who are meant to be attractive to you because that is what a woman is on this earth to be.
To be objectified.
It is so normal and it is such an acceptable thing that like the idea that a brand would actively be like, "Ugh, we don't want that audience," completely makes sense.
Yeah.
Because anti-fatness is like, it's nothing. It's
nothing.
literally nothing to anybody.
It
No
means
one cares
nothing.
about it.
Yeah.
They're like, whatever. Why would anyone want to be fat? But you don't actually want to be fat, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you don't.
You'll admire that person from a distance, just like
Yeah. You're so
when someone will say like, "Yo,
confident.
tumhe kitni kashish hai."
Yeah.
But if you were the same skin tone as me,
You'd kill
you wouldn't like
I
that,
straight
would
up
you?
said to
It
someone,
comes right
if
back
you-
to
Yeah.
majority of
Yeah.
your country is overweight, is darker skinned, but that aspirational aspect that, oh no, we want the white, we want to be gora, we want
Yeah.
that skinny, tall, light-eyed thing. It all comes back down to that.
Yeah.
They can't have it, so but that's what they want.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I do want to talk about female photographers versus male photographers. in the
Please,
fashion
yeah,
industry.
please.
I feel like as of lately, there's been this, a lot of campaigns are now being completely photographed by female photographers. And I feel like when a female photographs you, she'll never tell you how to pose. She'll never tell you what to do, how to look slim, how to look tall, what to do with your expression, how
She'll
your
let you
hand
play.
should be. Because she's a woman. She knows that you know how to do your job. She knows that ये कर लेगी क्योंकि ये औरत है और मैं क्या इसको सिखाऊं कि ये इसको कैसे करना चाहिए, how to
Right.
represent herself or how to show herself in the
Right,
outfit,
right. I mean, yeah, fair
But
enough.
when a male, I've seen this, and not with all male photographers, but with a lot of them, what I've seen is that they'll always feel the need to tell you how you need to pose, what you need to do with your leg, where your hand needs
I'm
to
loving
be.
this, the way
you
I'm
know?
beaming.
And it's, no, but it's
You
so...
don't even have to say
and
anything.
and it's so annoying because at the end of the day, you're a man. You can't tell a woman how to act like a woman or how to pose like a woman. It's not your place.
Yeah.
It's also not your place as a photographer to come and fix my clothes without asking me. That happens a lot. It's not your place as a photographer to sit in the room where the models are doing their makeup and hair or where they're getting changed. there might be friendship there, we might have a great relationship, but there need to be certain boundaries.
Absolutely.
We're all professionals. There has to be a boundary. And we're at work. And usually at shoots, there's this very casual attitude, right? Which is fine. theek hai. It's creative energy. We're all creatives. We're meeting. We're creating art together. That's all fine. But boundaries.
Again, it comes right back to, I feel like they keep boasting about how this industry has come so far and how this industry has grown so much. In a lot of ways, in a majority of the ways,
like,
clearly.
I'm happy. I'm like giggling.
I mean,
and I'm so much more comfortable working with women, man.
So my best friend,
because there's no objectification,
fair.
right?
And we need more women photographers.
And videographers.
And
Absolutely. And the female photographers right now are absolutely killing
it. Shout out Alina Naqvi, my best friend.
Alina Naqvi, Sajal, Aisha Diwan.
Yeah.
Who else?
Well,
Let's name them all. I'm getting so excited now.
I was so excited when you started that because, so I've shot...
Sarah Iqbal. She's a videographer,
I'm also trying to think, like, we follow a bunch... Your name starts with an N. You're amazing. I'm forgetting a name.
Noorul N.
Yeah. And so I've shot only one time with a female photographer. It was during COVID. And I shot the cover of Digital Weekend magazine, Alina Naqvi. She shot me through her phone. It was like an experimental thing. And not once did she make me feel weird about whatever I was doing with my body.
In fact, she compliments you.
In fact, she's like, let loose, have fun. And I'm sorry to keep bringing this back to weight, but it's just because that's the type of model I am. So yesterday was great. I'm really riding this high from yesterday. That photographer was lovely. The one I've worked with a few times. I don't want to say his name, but I guess I could. Like, I am 3H. He's been pretty wonderful to work with for me.
He's a sweet guy.
Yeah, like he would go out of his way to like make sure I was comfortable and like never shamed me.
Yeah.
But I've had a photographer where like, okay, you're modeling, guys, watch out, modeling time, and like you do like a dancer hand, or you like you lean
a dancer
back.
hand. I like that.
You do literally. You get to live out your Bollywood like Ada dreams. Okay. And
my body doesn't move that way. I can never be a model.
You have to like do some really weird postures.
Like literally yesterday, I was leaned back this way, and my hand was like this to show
you have
the
to
jewelry.
stay that
like a teapot.
Minutes. Yeah.
I tried to do that once with this other photographer, and he started laughing and said, "Don't do that. Don't move." Yeah. Literally laughing and like laughing to his assistants because his idea of like what does a woman who moves gracefully look like was my colleagues. It wasn't this, big girl. And so you're right. And I was a little just like, what am I even doing here? You know, and when they too start telling you like how to be a girl.
Yeah, it's
and
just like, what are you on about?
How do you think I got hired?
Yeah.
Like, also, I had a photographer. Look at me, literally. I've not done so many shoots that people can't like work this out. But I recently did a shoot where I started posing, and I said, I'm gonna be confident. Like, I don't care how I'm feeling about my body today. Like, whatever. We're gonna have fun. And he literally like grabbed the designer and they started like whispering
and you
really
just
hard.
Know what's going on,
and
right?
I knew what was going on, and then
like
like took maybe like 3 shots of me and like sent me on my way and like posed the other girls to the point that like I literally went upstairs and took a nap to like finish before I came back for the next shot.
So clearly there's no credentials. They just know how to click a camera and then they become a photographer and then think that they know poses and think that they can.
So look, some of them are genuinely, what sucks is they're incredible. And it's just, they are not comfortable with you. Like, they don't know how to deal with you.
But isn't it their job to make you comfortable enough so that they get their shots out?
Isn't that
how it works?
See, I think, again, it has a lot to do with exposure, with, how, like...
Okay, yeah, fair.
Also, as a photographer, it doesn't matter if you're a male or a female, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to just be bashing male photographers because a lot of them are... a lot of them are really, really nice.
Like very nice,
there are a few of them that don't have ethics and like and they're not nice and they're very rude, or they feel like they need to direct you because like they're the photographers.
God
and,
complex.
So, but I think it's a lack of exposure. It's also, again, this culture that we live in where, you know, there is this superiority
superiority complex.
superiority complex
Yeah.
with men, and they feel like,
Also, I want to build up. Sorry, because it isn't a culture we live in. Do you feel even in our industry, from people, our industry, guys? I literally do like 2 shoots a year.
No, you're still a part
yeah,
of the
but
industry.
like even within, like they're supposed to know that like these ideas of what, you know, in Pakistan, models are viewed as like bad women who like do bad things, and it's like sometimes I honestly get that energy from like the people we're working with, where like I feel like they kind of look down a little bit on models, and I'm like, what are we doing here? Like
that happens sometimes.
and I'm like, why
It
are you
happens
backwards
sometimes,
in
yeah.
this one regard that's paying your bills, homie?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
a bit disappointing.
Yeah.
Though I do feel tiny bit the tide sort of is turning.
It's definitely changed, right? Like there was a time when models were literally considered bad girls. They come from bad families. They do these bad things.
Because
to
they
get-
generalize.
Yeah, they're a bunch of baddies.
Media has generalized
But Abhi,
it.
it's changed. Social media has brought that change.
Yeah.
Also because now you get to know the model's personality
Absolutely.
I was
through
gonna say
their
it's-
social media, because now
Exactly.
you can market yourself.
Before,
however you
if
please.
3 people turned around and said, "Oh, you know, she was at a party doing this,
Yeah.
this," you can't.
And
You're not
there's
speaking
some-
for yourself.
And some models are like, some of them are, most of them are like really intelligent girls.
Yeah.
you
And
know,
healthy.
who are doing all sorts of
And
things.
who are because you have to be. That's
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
craft.
Absolutely.
Extremely intelligent, worldly,
Yeah.
stunning, smart, funny.
Yeah,
Some of the
funny.
funniest jokes you'll ever hear will
Yeah.
be in a makeup room.
I have learned a lot today.
I was gonna say maybe
Yeah.
like we could end this with because I think your story was pretty inspiring, like how you got into modeling and seeing your career. So maybe you could end with like some tips and tricks for anyone who might want to get into it.
Some tips and tricks for modeling.
Or maybe just some sage advice from a wise woman named Trinette.
Girl of wisdom.
Girl of wisdom.
I think if there's a younger girl or boy who's watching this and wants to be a model, I think firstly, I don't think you should be too young when you start off, because I think also when I started, I was in my 20s, early 20s. I had a fair idea of who I was.
That's a really important good note.
Yeah, because there a lot of times when you're young, you're impressionable, right? People
Right.
say all sorts of things to you, like, for instance, wear blue lenses or like, you know, apna weight kam karo ya jo bhi hai. And I already was confident with the way that I looked.
And
I knew
comfortable.
I had a brain. I knew I could speak. So all those things factor in, right?
Right.
You have to have all these tools to then face that camera and all these people with all these opinions. So don't be too young, I'd say, to parents. And if you are starting out young, make sure your parent is with you. I think that's very important. And I'd say be confident. If you have a voice, speak it. It doesn't matter what anyone says. Maybe you lose a gig or two, but the right people will come to you. And also, you have Instagram now. Be vocal on Instagram, yaar. Use karo apna platform. Say what you have to. Post your own pictures. If you're not getting shoots, do your own shoots.
Yeah.
Pick your that's what I used to do.
Yeah.
That's how I got noticed.
Yeah.
So nobody in this world can stop you. Only you can stop yourself. So don't stop yourself. Like, do the good work. Manage your Instagram. Do what you please. Like, please don't let anyone's opinion get to you. Just do you.
I'm
Honestly,
inspired.
just do you.
I'm definitely,
Honestly,
both of us are like,
because people are gonna have lots of things to say about
Yeah.
you. You can't please everyone, and you don't need to.
that's
Just do
it.
you, man.
Throw that concept
लोगों
out
को
the
बोलने
window.
दो जो उनको बोलना है.
Yeah,
आप
yeah.
अपना काम करो और दिल
Absolutely.
से करो बस.
Absolutely.
Thank
All
you
right.
so
Thank you
much
so
for
much
that.
for being here,
Thank you
for
so much for
teaching me
having
so
me.
much about this industry.
Thank you so much
Um,
for hearing and for calling me, and it was great. Honestly, thank you so much, guys.
Hope to see you again soon.
Bye.